Hi, I'm John Haynes, tournament bass angler here in Mound, Minnesota, and talk a little bit today about how to fish particular lures. I'm going to talk about three different types of lures. I'm going to talk about the Texas rigged worm, I'm going to talk about jigs, and I'm going to talk about spinnerbaits. Now the Texas rigged worm, this is a very popular style of lure to fish with, the Texas rigged worm. I think one of the things that makes it so popular is you can fish it in a lot of different areas. You can fish it shallow, you can fish it deep, you can fish it around docks, you can fish it in wooded areas with sunken and submerged timber. The basics of this is you're going to cast it out there and you're going to let it fall. The weight is going to carry it down. There's going to be some action with the worm as it goes down. You're going to let that fall out there, and every once in a while you're just going to be picking it up and just kind of reeling in the slack. And you want to be aware of your line. You want to watch your line. If you start to see your line move sideways, a fish has picked up your bait and it's swimming off with it, it's time to set the hook. If you pick up the line and you start to reel in slack and you feel a little weight against it, you feel a tug, and this is the thing about getting out there and practicing with these. You're going to know the difference over time of when you've got a fish on and when maybe you're just hung up on a tree or you're hung up in some grass. But if you feel that weight, go ahead and set the hook, and most likely there'll be a fish on the end of your line there. So that's just the basics of fishing that Texas rigged worm. Then with jigs, jig fishing is another popular type of fishing, and again, the reason being is because you can catch fish in almost any type of structure. The great thing about the jig fishing is that, as I mentioned, you can fish in a lot of different types of structure. Again, docks, weeds, sunken timber, in lily pads and heavy slop and different types of structure like that. There's different techniques. You can cast this, you can pitch it, you can make sure you're hitting your targets, because that's the main thing with this bait. Especially if you're fishing in like lily pads or some kind of matted grass, you'll see little holes and little pockets within that structure. You're going to want to make sure that you can drop your jig into those holes. You're going to want to let it fall, and again, bass might hit it on the way down, and then you're just going to want to let it sit and then just pick it up and see if you've got anything going on it. If you don't, reel it in, pitch it into the next hole. You can also throw this around submerged timber. You can throw it under docks and around docks, any type of hard structure like that. And you're just going to want to let it fall and watch for that tick in your line. And when you feel that tick, you feel something grab it, you're just going to set that hook. And that's what makes the jig so versatile. And then with the spinner bait, again, this is a bait that's really an easy bait to use, because for the most part it's a cast and retrieve kind of bait. In other words, I'm just going to cast this out into the water and I'm going to reel it back to the boat. Cast it, reel it back to the boat. Now there are some other different techniques that you can do with it. You can alter the retrieve. You can maybe do a slow retrieve, or sometimes called slow rolling a spinner bait. You can also pause it, maybe let it sink a little bit and then start the retrieve again. You may trigger reaction bites from the bass that way. Again, you can fish this around a lot of different applications, around grass, around docks, around submerged timber and laydowns, those kinds of things. You can fish the spinner bait. So those are three different types of ways to fish for bass: the spinner bait, the jig, and the Texas rigged worm. Thanks for watching.